Today, it's ChillPoint
Yay!
with Beej and Heather and Paul. This is ChillPoint.
Hey, you got in the credits.
Yeah. Beej finally gets into the intro.
Wait, didn't we do that joke last time?
Yeah, I think we did.
He did that on the last ChillPoint. I saw it. He had the emoji show up, and I laughed real hard. That was funny.
Yeah, Beej can only go into the intro if Heather is also in the intro.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know why. This is how it works.
Oh, neat.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the ChillPoint, which is like CheckPoint, but more chill. And here with Beej and Heather, and we're going to be talking about the video game news.
Yeah, video games. So many exciting video games.
And for those of you who haven't seen this before, normally when we do CheckPoint, Beej and Kathleen and I come in early on Thursday, and we have a whole bunch of stories that we look through and write up the actual, find some that we particularly like, and then we write up the stories that are funny. And
God willing.
Yeah, and God will, and we make so that Kathleen and Beej can read them out for the CheckPoint. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, we talk about the stories that we didn't talk about, like give you some more background info and stuff that didn't maybe work out into a nice little piece for the actual
Turns
episode
out something
of CheckPoint.
wasn't actually that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is that part of CheckPoint, but without the actual checkpoint part. So this is just the CheckPoint after show, but
This
without
is the best part.
without any before show part.
I mean, for me, this is the best part. This means I don't have to edit CheckPoint together.
Right, exactly. We don't have to be like, Heather, fix that, please. Although speaking of which,
Yeah.
I by mistake went to the going offline before we went online.
That's okay. I
Heather,
saw it.
Heather, fix that, please.
I will fix that.
I was clicking and I clicked on the wrong thing. Anyway, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. Today, we're going to talk about various things that went on in the world of video games. Starting with, sure, let's just do this in order, I guess. There's a new Overwatch event, which is not that uncommon. But this one allows you to get a new skin for Bastion that makes him made out of Lego, which is actually pretty awesome.
He looks very Transformer-ish like this.
Yeah.
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 That's, yeah. Two mice.
Right? Nope.
There's the video we would be playing in the upper corner.
Well, I mean, sure, there's Bastion. But you know what's better? The little tiny bird friend he gets. That.
Ah, yes.
It's like a little... look at him.
Yeah, little tiny
They
bird
make
Lego
a bird.
friend.
The bird should have been like the standard like Lego parrot that used to come with all the like they used to come with all the pirate sets. Anyway,
This is official Lego though. Like it is.
this is with a in a conjunction with the
with the Lego group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
There's like a couple other skins or something as well, right? They've been showing off the Bastion one.
Yeah. Apparently, I think there's like avatars for the other people, but it's most importantly, yeah, he's
Bird.
got like bionicle pieces and all robots should have a Lego version, I think.
Everything should have a Lego version. Let's be fair. You need a Lego version.
Actually-
I need a Lego version. Beach needs a Lego version. Our computer setup needs a Lego version. Every single member of chat needs a Lego version. We all need Lego versions.
Speaking of which, actually, I saw this is not video game news really, but I saw a video yesterday. This guy posted. He's a game developer. And he posted a thing about an early test. He did some work on the Lego, the Lego video games where it's like Lego Star Wars and stuff. And he posted one of their early tests was they were like, can we use motion capture to do the animation for it instead of doing it by hand? And it showed this early test, and he's like, the answer was no. It turns out like using like human motion capture and then mapping it onto a Lego person looks so wrong.
Oh, I bet.
For one thing, the
Oh, yeah.
proportions of a Lego
Oh,
a
yeah.
Lego person is totally off, and also they're like way more. They're way bendier than they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not cool.
It's like, well, in the Lego movie, there was some stuff where they had to kind of fake that, where they need to like, well, we need them to move in a specific way that a real Lego figurine could not, but we can fake that here by doing this, and yeah.
It's on a channel called Game Hut, which is actually a pretty awesome channel. The guy talks about old. He's I don't know if he still is, but he was a game developer, doing a lot of stuff for like old systems like Sega Genesis and stuff, and so doing a lot of things, talking about the crazy tricks that they had to do to make things work within the memory and processor limits
I
of
love that stuff.
those old systems. Yeah. All right, what else we got going on here? Oh yeah, this is. I didn't initially mark this as like a story that was important, but then like I saw it reported like a whole bunch of different places. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe this is actually a big deal.
I think it's actually just
Well-
that there's a lot of British people who are spreading news for the web.
Maybe
That's the only thing I can put it to, because it's about Football Manager, which is
not about
playing football.
European football.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Football Manager 2020 is going to be have a new packaging that apparently they hope to spread in the industry.
They want to be a popularized kind of thing, yeah.
That's 100% recycled cardboard. And in fact, even the shrink wrap will be fully recyclable, low-density polyethylene. So instead of the little plastic, instead of the plastic clamshells, they are going to be making them out of cardboard. It still looks great. It's still solid. The disc is still secure. But it's less environmental impact in many different ways, so it would be stupid not to do it.
Yeah, so when I read this initially, I was like, oh, you mean like they used to do with cardboard packaging on all your games instead of...
There was
Right, there used to be like a cardboard box.
it used
Yeah.
to be cardboard boxes.
But then there'd be a jewel case inside the box.
Oh no, even before that, like when it was like diskettes and stuff, right?
Oh, that's true.
For
Yeah.
Right?
discs,
like way
sure.
back in the day.
But like, all my Game Boy games did not have cases for them.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I guess they didn't
They
really.
had a little
The little
cardboard-
clear clamshell.
Yeah.
insert, but they didn't come with those.
No, the little clear clamshell came with every Game Boy game. Like you'd have like a
Are you sure?
You'd have a box.
I don't recall those
So
being with my games.
you said Game Boy.
Yes,
Do you mean Game Boy or Game Boy Advance?
Game Boy.
Like the original.
I mean,
Black
I
and
didn't
white
buy
Game
that
Boy.
many, but yes, Game Boy.
Okay, so every Game Boy game came with a little tiny clear case that your games sit inside. They all came with that, and then when the Game Boy Advance started getting made, they stopped coming with those cases.
Yeah, they were just little
Hmm.
Yeah.
sleeves they gave them.
Yeah, little tiny hard plastic,
Okay.
like not polycarbonate, but yeah, the little tiny like clearish sleeves that you could actually put the thing in and click close to keep the games clean.
All right, cool. Beach has a better memory than I do.
Yeah,
I feel like
because I still have all mine.
because I feel like those old carts. It's different though. Like a cart was kind of self-contained with like
Yeah,
pla-
only the few
like it
things
was
exposed.
itself plastic, whereas you don't really want to have just like CDs around by
No.
themselves. So I mean, I guess if you're the kind of person who likes to have all the things on your shelf, a cardboard case might be a little less durable than a plastic thing. But
Yeah.
and you can't have like the replaceable sleeves and stuff, which was kind of nice. They haven't figured out clear cardboard yet.
No, not yet. I do think it's a cool idea that they want to do this, and I mean, I'm somebody who likes to buy a physical object for like our Switch games. I like to actually buy a physical game.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a lot of those, at least, I'm not so sure about the Switch cases, but the 3DS cases were printed in a way that they had little cutouts
Yeah.
in order to reduce the amount of plastic that was used
Right. Yeah.
on the inside. And
Which made them a little bit flimsier, but also was like it didn't really matter because it's not like you're going to be bumping them about a whole bunch.
yeah, but what I found interesting was that they're also going to the point of saying that their instruction manuals are still going to use water-based vegetable ink as well on recycled paper. So they are really trying to make the whole packaging
More sustainable.
that way.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of games these days just don't have instruction manuals. They're like, read it online. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. I guess we're a little farther back from the mic.
I don't have
than
headphones on, so I feel like I'm yelling. But I feel like that seems okay, because
Yeah, that's probably
nobody's
fine.
acting like that's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably fine. What else we got going on here? Oh yeah. So
Even just the headline is so good.
yeah, the headline in Kotaku is Dota 2 cheats getting their asses banned until 2038.
Yeah, that was a pretty good headline.
There's something there. I feel like this has been done before, but there's something about rather than just doing a permaban, banning someone for a stupid number of years, just to kind of because it kind of emphasizes how long the ban is rather than just forever.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's like no, you're not banned forever, just 19 years.
Sorry, I have a phone call.
Beach has phones.
Uh,
This is weird.
So yeah, so don't worry if you got banned from Dota 2 yesterday because they did a big a round of bans targeting bad actors. Hopefully we're safe.
I mean, none of us actually play Dota 2, right?
Yeah.
Except, like, maybe once.
People with exceptionally low behavior scores, bullying, selling Steam accounts. It's a big no-no. Or using exploits to get advantage over other players. They're doing a wave of bans, and then instead of banning people permanently, apparently they're doing 19-year bans.
Can I look at my gamer score? Can I find out
What your behavior score is?
what my behavior score is?
Exceptionally low behavior score. Yeah. I feel like that could be that it would be relevant to let people know that.
I just kind of want it to be like a credit check.
Well, yeah, I mean that's they've talked about that in terms of. I know there was a thing at one point that people got a little bit concerned that in-game sort of behavior score or like account being tied to, like, if for instance like your Blizzard account. So like if you're a douche in Dota 2 and you get your Blizzard account banned, then you now can't play any other Blizzard games, right? Because your Blizzard account got banned. So
Yeah.
all this stuff. So people have been kind of
I mean,
annoyed about
it's
that.
very simple. Don't be a douche. The end.
That's fair.
Maybe bad things wouldn't happen.
I do feel like even if you're a big douche in a game and an asshole, make it so like if you could still play like you should be able to still play like single player, like you can play
Okay,
allowing people to
sectioned off from the rest of the internet.
yeah,
Sure.
it's like you can still play StarCraft 2 like the actual just like campaign. I think you should be allowed. But anyway. Don't be too sure Heather will come to you. No. That's a lot of work. Heather
Yeah,
said,
that's too much work for me.
Heather can't be like the internet douche police. That's way too much work.
Yeah, I already do that on our YouTube. Can't do that for the whole internet. Not yet. Working on it. Oh, yeah, this...
Yeah, we
goodness.
probably need to show this.
I think I kind of remember seeing stuff about this once.
So the there was I think it was like a leaked thing from one of the Shin Megami Tensei games that there was that this was pre what do you call it
This was like the second one, I think.
yeah, but this was before the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Kingdom Hearts.
And so you can see here that apparently you go in the game, you go to like a parody of Disneyland or sort of a Disneyland-esque place. And apparently there were originally plans for a really freaky Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck wielding swords and a chainsaw. They never actually made it into the game. They were cut before release, but apparently the sprites and everything were still like hidden in the game, and people decompiled it and found them. So yeah,
because your game works. You don't remove stuff from it. You might break it, right? That's how that goes. As far as I understand, with programming.
But it's like even if I like this because like even if there was something about like Disney was okay with them hypothetically using Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, there was no way they would like the guideline or like the requirements for I remember reading a thing talking about Mickey's Epic Journey or whatever
that's I think I know what you mean. Yes.
Talking about the Mickey game and talking about how the requirements for the Mickey character in terms of like how he's portrayed was very specific. Like you have to be very careful about making him look bad in any way.
Yeah, because he's a big while Mickey is a cartoon, he is also a brand mascot.
Yeah.
And so for them, that's very important because if at any point he looks bad, that's going to reflect on their branding, and they don't want that. Right,
yeah, that's actually in Kingdom Hearts. That's why they have the Keyblade rather than an actual sword, is that Mickey can't actually have a weapon.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Keyblades look awesome.
For instance, but probably double swords or chainsaw would have been totally no go on that.
Well, I feel like you could get away with the chainsaw with Donald Duck because they've been trying to rebrand him so that he's not quite got that angry streak in the same way anymore. If you watch the new DuckTales, you can see it. Like he'll still do it sometimes, and it kind of feels like a callback. But they really pull back from that in terms of what him getting so mad that everything just kind of breaks.
He just becomes like totally intelligible because of his voice goes.
They make a lot of jokes about that, actually, which are really good. I can't really get into them without spoiling it, and I don't want to spoil DuckTales for anybody, so...
all right, there's been... now, I mean, don't want to get into this too much, but there's been a bunch of stuff recently on this very platform, on Twitch, about cracking down on various creators for so-called sort of sexual content, both in terms of their presentation, like as in how they're dressed or whatever, and also like the stuff like some artists like drawing things that are sort of lewd drawings. And the main takeaway from it, whether there's obviously various schools of thought about what should be allowed on Twitch, but the real thing is that what should be allowed or not allowed, can be debated and decided. But the idea is that right now nobody knows. Like it's so arbitrary.
Yeah.
That Twitch seems to be, punishing certain people for drawing things that are like, sort of adult-oriented images, but with no actual like nudity in them.
Yeah.
Some people are drawing fully nude things and being totally fine. Some people are, doing dressing up in outfits that are kind of risque. Some people are like in bikinis and it's fine. Some people are shirtless, or like at like a at like a gym, and they're like, okay, that's fine because you're at a gym. But it's like, oh no, but
contextual, right?
Yeah. Except sometimes it's not.
If you were streaming at poolside, women can wear a bikini. But if you are streaming in your own bedroom, you may not wear a bikini.
Mm-hmm.
So contextually, it matters too. Apparently,
if you have a fish tank in your bedroom, does that count as being poolside?
If you're in the fish tank, then you are poolside.
I mean, regardless...
How big a fish tank does it have to be before it's considered a pool?
Right, exactly. I've asked my landlord that many times.
Regardless of how you define it, The truth is Twitch is vague, and when it sounds like when they do ban people or like even temporarily ban them, they don't give them actual reasonings as to why.
And also like 75% of these stories you read, it's like this person got banned from Twitch. Update. After appealing it, their ban has been changed to a suspension to 3 days. And so it's like, what the?
Cool. So
if they were being like, so it's just
handing out bans willy-nilly.
And then like if they appeal it, they're like, oh no, that wasn't a real thing. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, and there's some thought that some of these bans are occurring not because Twitch is finding them themselves so much as there are people going and reporting the stream, like groups of trolls reporting on a stream, and then Twitch is looking at that and giving them a ban, and that has a different connotation that suggests that Twitch doesn't have enough people actually monitoring things to find out if things should be banned. It's
kind of there's a better analogy, but I'm going to use, it's a kind of a pink elephants thing, right? When you tell somebody to don't think about pink elephants, then they think about pink elephants. So if you put in like a dozen people put in reports because they're like, I don't like the fact that this woman is popular on the internet, and they put in a bunch of reports saying she's wearing lewd clothing and it's making me think sexual thoughts and I don't want to think sexual thoughts, and they send that in, a dozen of them or whatever send that in to Twitch, the person on the other end is being like, okay, well now I am thinking that this person is wearing something that makes people think sexual thoughts. I click on it and I look at it and I'm like, oh, I see how you could be thinking sexual thoughts looking at that.
Recontextualizes it.
Yeah, you're already thinking the thing that's bad, and so they're like, well then I guess I have to say you're banned. And then somebody else comes along later and said, hey, through the benefit of hindsight and not having had like a dozen reports come in at me, like flying at me, no, that's completely acceptable, and I don't know why we would have even banned that person in the first place.
Well, I don't doubt your analogy. I don't think it's likely that. I think it's more, oh, there's a bunch of complaints on this thing, I'm just going to hit a button and do that because it must be right.
Because I have all this work I have to get through. Yeah,
chances are good it's going to a person who has a pile of other work to do, and this is like an additional thing they have to do.
Yeah.
That's way more likely.
Yeah, and it's just trying to have some sort of... And it's not like I get the idea that you can't have that like the requirements or the guidelines have to be guidelines, right? You can't have like you can show 3 centimeters of whatever, like you
can't have an algorithm.
You have to have it because people will work around whatever.
Yeah.
But you can have some sort of consistency or be able to. I mean, you can almost do it like actual. Not that it's a legal thing, but actually do it sort of like, case law in that you can sort of have a precedent that people can compare things against.
And that's what people want, yeah.
Yeah, at least have something there.
Yeah, they want to be able to, like, people want a thing where they want a lineup of pictures that says, this is acceptable, and then this is not acceptable, and then here's the continuum of what you can wear or what you can do in between, and say, this approaches the line but is okay, and this now steps over the line and is not okay. But the world isn't that simple. The problem is that so many people are depending upon streaming to help make their living that they're trying all sorts of different things. They want to do all sorts of different fun stuff. And if that ends up crossing a line, that's like, great, now you've crossed a line because it's unclear about what you can and can't do, and now you've lost your livelihood.
Right. Yeah. And I know there's also been issues with, because there is some Twitch makes you somewhat responsible anyway for what happens in your chat.
Yeah.
Right.
So
there can be some problems with, people either getting excessively, really big overnight, or having a big influx of traffic that they weren't expecting, and that they don't have the moderation to deal with. Resulting in all sorts of bad stuff being posted into their chat. Not that, chat is bad, but sometimes
our chat, real good.
Yeah.
Because we got great mods as well. But
current chat exempt. But sometimes there can be stuff that is objectionable, and if it's not dealt with in a timely manner, then that can actually get the streamer in trouble, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, I mean they do that on YouTube now as well.
They're like in the comment section.
In the comment section, if I've seen articles about it where if you have too much of a certain thing, that's basically like.
Wow, really?
Well, you know how it's like, the content in your video is not suitable for all advertisers. Your comment section can kind of do that to you now too.
Wow.
Like and I think that's just like, it's a weird mix because in a way, as a streamer, you can try to call your chat to action, and if that is not a good action that you are calling them to, I feel like some responsibility of the chat is yours, but you can't also control everyone, so having that moderation is good as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you've said, sometimes there's just a huge influx, and if you're not prepared for that...
And it is something that, I mean, as with the YouTube stuff, it's almost impossible to moderate in an automated way. So it's all about actually having a real people oversight, which can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't have a good solution, but it's one of those things where it's definitely, I mean, even Twitch is also, even with like what video games are allowed to be streamed and stuff, Twitch has been a little bit woefully on as well.
Yeah.
So
and I'm sure
hopefully they can, I mean, I'm sure it's something that they know is a problem.
Yeah, and this is also not the particular characteristic of Twitch's platform only. I'm sure that the same shit happens on Mixer or YouTube Gaming or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, it's a function of a certain amount of
big enough.
It's a function of a certain amount of popularity,
yeah.
really.
Yeah. I mean, truth is, if there was a simple solution, they'd use it.
Yeah. Of course they would. They'd probably even use a simple solution if it was, even if it was like algorithmically based, and it would save them a lot of time and money.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Actually, somewhat not really related, but
great.
On a slightly tangential note, there was an interesting thing involving chats. So EVE Online, we've done various stories about it various times. They've been doing a thing lately where they wanted to kind of shake things up a little bit. And so one of the things they did is 66 days, so about 2 months ago, they did this thing called Blackout, where normally when you go into a system in EVE Online, there's a local chat where you can see everybody who's in that star system and talk to them and stuff.
Sure.
And what they did is they Blackout was they stopped that. They made it so you couldn't chat with the other people in the, like, that didn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. And so it was sort of a in-game thing that I think there was some like in-game reason for it to be happening, but it also was kind of an experiment on their part to see how it would affect things. And it was interesting because, for one thing, apparently a lot of what the in-game chat was used for is you can go into the thing, see who else is in there, and if, say, some pirates are there, people can like warn each other or be like, hey dude, there's like a guy coming up trying to kill you, maybe you should run, and stuff like that. And so now they didn't have, so apparently pirates really liked this, and pirates in the sense of in-game, not like people stealing video games, in the sense of in-game actually guys, yo-ho-ho,
NPCs?
No, players.
So players who were being pirates.
Yeah,
okay.
Players who were attacking other players.
Yar.
They really liked this because it allowed them to sneak up on people a lot easier. But obviously a lot of players didn't like it, and apparently the like concurrent user base for EVE took a pretty significant hit. It does now. That's a little bit. The EVE usually does go down over the summer. Also, WoW Classic just hit, which could have an effect on that.
Yeah.
But the consensus is there were quite a few people who were just like, I'm going to log off until they get this back because I can't handle this. So it's back now anyway. The blackout has been lifted. And most people are pretty happy about that. But as sort of a larger thing, apparently they're trying to shake up they feel that the meta or whatever in EVE has gotten a little stagnant, so they're going to be messing around with stuff more. Who knows what other things they're going to be doing? But I don't know if there's any EVE players in the chat have an opinion on that. Eve is one of those things that I'm always fascinated by the stories that come out of it, but I have no particular interest to play it myself.
I mean, it seems like it would require a significant amount of time that I don't think any of us really has a lot of.
But yeah, it is an interesting idea of sort of experimentation in game design for some, a game that's been around for whatever 15 years.
But
or
they're
so.
still willing to actually spend that time.
Yeah. Aha!
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the important
yeah!
news,
Very important news. Best news.
which is the continual, like, I like that basically every week there's like news articles about, it's like, this is the Pokemon that the internet is going crazy about this week.
Yeah.
There's like there was like the the dog with the sword, and then there was the sheep, and then there was the every fifth or sixth Pokemon they announce for Sword and Shield, people are like, yes, this is the one.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're kind of pretty aware of which ones they're dropping off.
So yeah, this is an evolution of a previously existing
One of the
Pokemon.
first Pokemon.
And if I'm not a big Pokemon player, but if I understand correctly, the original one was a bird that was for some reason holding a leek, and there was no reason behind it holding a leek. That was just a thing.
Well, I think according to the Pokedex, that leek might have been used while cooking that bird.
So the bird actually like had its own garnish with it.
Yeah.
That's
Pokemon's
weird.
kind of messed up when you read into it too hard.
So anyway,
Now he can defend himself.
the evolution of the bird is he's got a giant leek shield and sword now.
It's so cool though, because if you look at the top of the sword, it's basically the shield is from the top of the leek, because the leaves do that at the top.
Yeah, he cut the top of the leek off and is using the top of the leek.
As a shield.
All
Like
the
a
leaves.
duck carrying its own leek is apparently a Japanese saying.
Great. That's weird.
A duck comes bearing
That's cool.
leeks, meaning a fortunate but unexpected thing.
Yeah. Now,
But yeah.
fortunately, no one's put a super crown on this thing yet, or has tried to give it tits. So,
Well, which is surprising because it's been a year since
mean,
Bowsette, so...
yeah,
I mean, that's not in this Kotaku article.
yeah.
I'll confess that I have not done an extensive search for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have mentioned it, it by the rules of the internet, it now exists.
Mhm.
So thanks
Excellent.
for that.
I did,
Yes,
did what
thank
I
you.
could.
I appreciate it. Ooh, I like that one.
The one that's very DuckTales?
DuckTale-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the moment they were like, hey, Sirfetch'd is out, my timeline on Twitter was all of that. Which means I'm doing it right.
Like, Farfetched was like, okay, that's just that. I get the idea of the name. You called him that, like whatever. It's a word. Sirfetch'd is not a word. It is just a name.
Most Pokemon are not real words.
Yeah.
I'm pointing that out now. I know you don't play Pokemon.
I like the ones where he's jacked.
I mean, he is pretty jacked. Like
Yeah.
the official.
Oh, it gets
The
even.
official art, he's
Yeah,
he's
but
got a nice,
big
burly
there are
chest,
people who've been drawing him with
but-
like 8-packs.
Yeah.
Not even 6-packs. We're talking like extra packs.
Well, and something that somebody pointed out is that if you look at the Pokedex entries for him,
Yeah.
then or the Pokedex info, he so the previous whatever the original evolution is a duck, right? And it's like a duck the size of a duck. It's like a foot tall and weighs however many pounds a duck weighs.
Yeah.
This guy, he's like 2.5 feet tall.
Oh, he's a big duck.
He's bigger, but he weighs like 200 pounds.
Oh shit.
He is a dense duck.
Is that maybe taking into account the sword and shield? I hope.
I don't know how heavy can a leek shield really or leek sword really be?
I mean, if you want to stop other leek swords, you're going to want a leek shield that's going to be heavy enough to withstand that.
yeah, both at the same height. Oh right, yeah.
Sorry, I do want to
one
drill
of-
down a bit to see. Oh,
one of-
Alolan form, yes.
Yeah,
Very
one
funny.
of my favorite ones that they've done is somebody did one that was like Sirfetch'd with the shield for the shield version of Pokemon. Has like a larger shield, and then like for the sword version they gave him like an even bigger sword, which is not probably how that's going to work, but
No, I believe he's actually sword exclusive, is what they've said. I think.
oh, did they?
Yeah,
I haven't picked that much
Pokemon
attention.
sword exclusive.
Look, as long as I can get
Yeah.
the sheep in the one that I'm getting.
They do not have.
Yeah, Wooloo.
Ooh, so
They
good.
don't
Yeah.
have the muscular one that I thought.
My favorite thing with Wooloo, this was like from a while ago, but my favorite thing with Wooloo was people drawing because when there was the thing about like that the new Sword and Shield you won't be able to import your old Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so people were like, okay, we'll just sneak him inside Wooloo. Like there was a bunch of pictures. There was a bunch of pictures of like old Pokemon like hiding inside Wooloo's fur.
Nice.
It's like we'll sneak him inside Wooloo.
Oh, that's how I can get my Rowlet in. Yeah.
They didn't say that Galar has like restrictive biodiversity laws, did they? Because that would be the way around it. Because then all the Australians at least would be like, oh yeah,
Right? Yeah.
they would
They're-
understand.
They're afraid of disturbing the delicate Pokemon ecosystem.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, if you have a Sirfetch'd like that, you don't want to bring in like the clearly inferior Farfetch to kind of screw up the gene pool. Right? You want to keep
no.
breeding 300, 400, 500 pound,
That
half ducks,
No,
half men ducks
the fact that they're bringing in Sirfetch suggests that Farfetch'd will be allowed in this version.
Okay. It's not a replacement. It is a straight up evolution.
It's an evolution.
I see.
He gets big and beefy.
Okay.
You cook your Farfetch before it turns into a Sirfetch, because otherwise it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I mean, but it does come with a bigger leak. So to go along with the bigger,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you want to tackle Sirfetch,
I feel like it's gonna
you
be-
go for it. But I ain't there for
I
you.
feel like even if you win, though, it's going to be like real tough.
I hope they put like I hope the like mods figure out a way to get Sirfetch'd into that freaking sword fighting simulator that recently came out that a bunch of grognards play. Come on, help me on this. It's an MMO.
can't
and
help you.
it's
I
the
don't
one
know
where
what
you-
you're talking
It's the one where
about.
you can attack people. More now, thank you.
For Honor? Oh,
More now.
Yeah. More now. Yeah. All right. This is a story that was more interesting for me because it seems like it's something that would have already happened.
Oh yeah.
But Batman is going to come to Fortnite in the sense that people have been doing some, the old data diving, data mining. And apparently there's like bat signals and different batarangs and different bat type weapons and stuff. And it was just like, really? They
Because-
haven't, it's like Batman, it seems like one of the, it just seems like a random pop culture thing that Fortnite would have already had.
Yeah. Because what even is this world?
Fortnite. It's
Oh, right, because Thanos is also,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
yeah, they did the big Thanos event thing. I mean, I assume Fortnite's just gonna eventually have something of everything in it one day. It's what it seems would be what they want.
that's actually, yeah, a good point. A couple people mentioned. If you are into Batman, on the Epic Store, currently, the entire Batman Arkham series, so Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and all three Lego Batman games are all free on Epic right now, which I can't speak for the Lego Batman games, but I'm a huge fan of the Batman Arkham games. So
I've only played a couple of the Lego games, and they've generally been good, so probably great.
Yeah, I suggest go picking those up if you can bear to have the Epic launcher installed on your computer. And if you can't, well, such is the way. Very important dog petting news. Something that I was not aware of is that tragically in Fallout 4, of course, you have your dog meat. Dog meat
Dog meat is
is
your dog.
your dog that does all the sorts of cool stuff in Fallout 4. Runs and gets stuff for you and hangs out with
Good
you. And
doggo,
different
good.
stuff. He is the best doggo, and because he is the best doggo, you can pet him.
Once. though. I'm looking
Yes,
at the thing. You
there's
can only pet him, and you can only pet him once.
Yes, there is a cutscene in which you can pet him.
That seems overly specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, there are a bunch of other dogs in the game that you cannot pet.
That seems wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
Did they fix that?
It is the post-apocalypse.
It
and I
is
don't
like
know
some
if
of
you
those-
want to touch every dog.
yeah, some of those dogs are like half zombie dogs.
Let me point out to you, if the world is in an apocalyptic state and your only joy is going to be dog petting, you can't have that taken away from you.
Well, you might have to find
Zombie
other
or not,
additional
the dogs
toys.
should get good pets.
All right. Where are all the cats?
I don't know, but we're talking about doggos.
Okay, fine.
So yeah, you have to make. So somebody has made a mod that allows, because of course Fallout 4, at least the PC version, can be modded up the wazoo. So somebody's made a mod that will allow you to pet all the dogs, as long as you aren't holding weapons, because you can't pet a dog with a gun.
I like how it says
Oh.
you cannot pet your dog with nuclear arms, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, you shouldn't
Good.
be able to.
Good job, Kotaku. Good write-up.
That is not what those are for. You pet.
Also, if
put
you're
things
wearing
with your
power
hands.
armor, you can't pet because that would be that's too hard to pet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're supposed to give good pets.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not crushing
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, hydraulically assisted petting is not what we want,
No.
or whatever power armor uses. But yes, unfortunately, if the dog is actually like actively fighting you, you can't really pet it.
I mean, yeah, that seems real to life, though. If a dog is actively fighting you, you
Yeah.
probably can't really pet it.
But if you were like if you had like meat on you or something, like throw that at the dog, and the dog start eating the meat.
Yeah, it'd be great if it's like pet.
Yeah, you make
Right.
friends with the dog. The dog's like, oh, yeah, okay, you know what? This is fine. This is fine. And then you're friends with the dog.
If you are, I mean, we talked about it on CheckPoint a while ago, but if you are unaware of the "Can You Pet the Dog" Twitter account, you should check that out, because it is doing a service to everybody, which is telling you what video games you can get pet dogs in.
Yeah, so you know previously which games to be disappointed in.
And it's also it's having a real effect on the game development community, in the sense that I can think of I believe there's been at least 2 stories, if not more, that are like game developers having been put on that Twitter account have then issued updates to their games to allow
It's
you to pet
usually,
dogs that were previously unpettable.
The gentlest Twitter blast.
Yeah, it's usually indies, right? Like, because I think, Enter the Gungeon definitely did it. I think, did Wargroove? I know they have dogs in their game,
Yeah.
so I don't recall.
Overcooked had a dog that you could pet, but now they've made it so that you can pet it more, and then there's actually like a prompt to pet it, rather than just being like a secret thing.
I think this will also lead to more developers being like, oh shit, we can't be caught unawares by that account. Take all the dogs out of our games.
That's not a good solution.
It's just kind of
Saying.
the thing. If you see a lot of animals that you can interact with, or do things with, and not being able to pet them is weird. It's just kind of odd. It's like that's the thing you're gonna want to try to be able to do.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many animals I can walk through in Fire Emblem, and it's very annoying?
I can pet horses in Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition S.
But not your weird dog with the eyes that are too close together.
No, you can't even touch that fucking dog.
I always liked in Assassin's Creed Origins, there's a thing with... there are some dogs in it that I don't think you can pet, but there are also lots of cats in the game, because you're in Egypt and whatever. And there's a slightly secret thing where if there's a cat near you and you like crouch and don't move, and the cat walks over to you, you'll automatically start petting the cat. As soon as you touch the controller to actually like move, you stop petting, and the cat goes away. But if you stay perfectly still, and the cat does come over to you, you'll start petting the cat.
That kind of makes sense for how cats operate too. That is their
I like
OS. Yeah.
Also, cats sometimes will just like start following you, which is usually bad because
They give your position away?
Well, one, they give you position away, and two, you often go to places that are dangerous for cats. So it's usually a bad thing when a cat starts following you. But anyway. All right.
We have one more
Yes.
story.
One more thing.
The weird thing.
New E3. So E3,
Just what we need.
E3 has gone through a lot of different iterations over the years. Some of you who have been following video game stuff longer might remember, like I don't know if the original, but what I remember it was as the first version or the initial version of E3 was an industry only event.
Yes.
And then it got to the point where it was so it was sort of this weird like industry only thing, and people really didn't like it that much. And
all of these, like, I know that there was a lot of people where it's like media were being invited so they could kind of hype all the stuff at E3, and then people were like, well, I'm going to apply for a media badge because I maybe run a website or some shit.
You've got like
And-
a
and it
blog
became-
so you can get in, and then it's like a status symbol at that point because you could get in when no one else could.
Yeah.
And in fact, PAX was originally proposed by the PA guys as a sort of direct response to the sort of media-only version of E3. And the idea was with PAX was that anybody could come. It was really cheap.
Yeah.
And
It isn't a media event. It's a fan event.
It's a fan event. And it was for like the fans could act basically, so you could access the things that were announced at E3. And then after like 2 years of PAX, E3 collapsed and didn't exist anymore. And PAX kept going and got more and more and more successful. And a lot of the stuff that sort of was happening at E3 kind of started moving over into PAX a little bit.
Phone call.
And then PAX got re-brought back.
Yeah, I think you mean E3.
Or sorry, E3 got re-brought back, and they started opening it up to the public more. That they sort of brought it back, opened it up to the public more, and we're like, hey, this is the new E3, it's a thing. And of course, PAX is still going as well. And once again, we're now getting into the situation where in the last couple of years, a bunch of the major console manufacturers have been like, thanks, but no thanks.
I mean, part of it's because they don't have to. Part of it's because technology has been
Yeah,
going up. Like they're either running their own events or they can stream their own stuff, so they don't really need to be at E3 outside of it was a good hub for business things and meetings and whatnot. But now they've then they opened it up to the public, which actually got in the way of like a number of interviews and stuff. The first year they did that, and
yeah, and it's like, you know, and I can understand that, like the requirements and the style of convention that is good for the public or consumers, and the style of convention that's good for journalists and industry professionals is different. And by trying to be sort of the best of both, or trying to be sort of both, I think they kind of messed themselves up.
yeah, I mean they're trying stuff because they need to adjust. They probably can see that earlier, given the first time that they had to like crash.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the thing, you know, there's far less things being announced at E3. Like, we joked about it actually the last CheckPoint, is that the week before E3 is when everybody announces things now.
Yeah.
Nobody actually announces anything at E3.
Well, because if you announce everything at E3, then and everybody else is announcing everything at E3, then it's like, oh, your news could get buried under all that stuff. So if you do it earlier, then I think the thought is that you're getting that news time to yourself, because prior to E3 used to be kind of like just a desert of news. There's like nothing going on because everyone's holding it for that. And
now it's the other way around. Yep. So anyway, all of that is a long introduction to get to the new thing. Apparently, this is a leaked.
This is the proposed new thing.
Leaked proposal that was apparently what do you call it? a pitch deck proposal for what the next E3 is going to be, proposed by the U.S. Trade Association, which is not sounding very good.
Well, they definitely use a lot of. You can definitely tell from the buzzwords they're trying to use that this was not meant to be a thing that maybe made its way to the general public, because it's really gross.
The proposed revamp would see the expo bring in more influencers and celebrities to play games and take part in a variety of experiences, such as inviting athletes to play sports games in front of fans or hiring actors to compete in tournaments. These events would seemingly take place in 8 experience hubs scattered throughout the LA Convention Center's West Hall, as seen in the floor plan picture below. So yeah, that sounds terrible.
I mean,
you know that,
in that speech, they definitely would not.
Well, there's the thing that's like the part of every E3 presentation, or like that part of like the presentations where they have the like 4 people who are either like people from the company or actors or whatever, up on stage to play the game and like fake trash talk each other as they're playing it and stuff.
Yeah. Like
that's always just really, really depressing.
Those 2 paragraphs, all they're describing is how do we make a commercial into a commercial, which, let's be honest, is what E3 is designed to be. It's a commercial. It's the other stuff that I start taking, I have problems with. Like the whole thing about wanting to, because they know there'll be lengthy queues, that they'll basically do line entertainment, but they called it Q entertainment. They tried slamming the word Q and entertainment together, and every time I look at the word, I cannot pronounce it out loud.
Q entertainment.
And
Q-tertainment. Q-tertainment? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just like them being like, well, there's a whole bunch of people there, it'd be a captive audience, we should throw more commercials at them. And I'm like, yes, but you didn't have to make a real word for that, or a fake word, or whatever that word you decided was, that, because it's not a good word. Let's not do that. Never. Ever.
So, anyway, there's been a lot of like silliness around this particular thing because it got leaked, and it's so who knows whether this will actually happen as a thing. It's clear that E3 as it was last year, they're in the they're definitely in a position where they are not happy with how it's going.
Where was the other? There was like another part that I really hated reading. The thing that suggested that they would get influencers to basically show up without giving them any compensation to advertise their stuff by way of like letting them interact with other charities or something. It was something kind of like that, and I didn't like the way it was phrased. It was basically like, you can come and do this thing for exposure.
Well,
because influencers are so into charity that they'd be willing to not do things for money, which is really gross.
I like they hope to create exclusive appointment-only activities for select attendees to create buzz and FOMO.
Oh yeah, the FOMO thing. Oh,
yes, let's see what we can do to create more FOMO.
Like I'm cool. Yeah, create buzz. You want people to talk about your thing, but FOMO, actually, literally going out of your way to create FOMO,
like fear of missing, which
gross.
And it's not even like fear of missing out, because it's not like you're sitting at home being like, oh man, I'm missing out on that. It's like, if you're not one of the invited celebrities, you didn't have an option to go there.
Except if they're opening it up for attendees, they're basically trying to make that a promotion for, you should be here at this event. Look how cool it is. Like I've seen advertising that does that kind of direct, that's specifically what they're trying to do, and trying to leverage fear of missing out on people is really gross, because it's already a thing that most people have with social media going on just with their friends, and I don't like it when they're specifically advertising it that way. I mean,
yeah, and
it should be criminal.
And obviously this, it does really show that this sort of presentation deck was not intended for public consumption stuff. So it's like, research shows that millennials and Gen Z are the most giving back social good generations ever. By amplifying E3's social good brand, we can advance the industry's brand with consumers while storing positive chits for future use.
Yeah, so it's basically
E.g.
like,
policy goals, next negative video games.
yeah, so what they're saying is, if we create a lot of good stuff around us now, if something bad happens, we can be like, but look at the good thing we did. And
Next
it doesn't
time we really
work
mess
that way.
up.
It does not work that way. It does a little bit, but not to the way that they make it sound.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very, like, it's that thing where it's like, it's the mentality that you know exists, but seeing it actually, like, written out explicitly is pretty, it's silly.
That's how you can tell, like, none of this was meant to be a thing aimed at public. It's stuff that you would, like, show towards shareholders, where you're like, well, we're gonna do this thing, and it's good because of this reason. And they're like, oh, okay, so that sounds like that'll work. And then when they have to spin that around to someone else, they'd be like, so, we're doing this really cool thing because we really want to talk about all the positives in the world. Like,
Yeah. Anyway.
Cynical.
Of course, very cynical. That was the main, the news that at least I thought was particularly interesting to talk about. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and we should welcome lots of people.
Do the subs.
Because there are lots of people who are not on this list.
They're probably
Somewhere in here?
I would say that.
Yes.
Yeah, probably about there.
All right. Bandwidth Raptor for 45 months says this looks amazing. Also 45 months. I think that was probably for the previous thing.
No, we look amazing. Lawrence72 cheered with 100 bits. What have we here is a failure to excommunicate. Also absolutely part of ours.
Vlanoik for 21 months. Thank you very much.
Octopus Rhyme subscribed for 15 months. Welcome back.
Banriel with the 200 bits and getting that Subway bonus. Thank you very much.
Kirby Sliver for 27 months. All slivers are now Kirby's in addition to their other types. Oh, that sounds awesome.
That's terrifying.
Awesome.
I mean, Sliver's just sucking up everybody else.
Kirby Slivers. Yeah.
Adorable fat slivers that eat other people.
Oh, they'd be so cute.
Bronze Finger for the 68 months. Thank you very much.
Exachix Kitsune for 48 months. Welcome back.
Frugershun for 26 months. Chill all the points.
Bazarkin for 4 months. Paul, your voice has been a balm to me ever since the unskippable days.
Oh, thank you. Forced Reject for 36 months. That's 3 years. Thank you very much.
VK Dragon Tech for 27 months. Furious Dabbing, 27 months. Also catch this on the FUD.
You know, you don't have to be so mad when you're dabbing. How about relaxed,
angry dabbing.
Chill dabbing?
I thought he meant just like you're dabbing really furiously, like a lot, very quickly.
I guess it could go either way. Sense of Mid Madness for 35 months. Almost 2 years? I guess so, yeah. In some ways. In certain time scales, I suppose that would be almost 2 years.
Hippity Boppity for 42 months. Hi, is this thing on? Still on? Yep, still on. I hope.
And the Maricat with those 10 gift subs. Master Frog 316 Mercurial Ouroboros. That is a sweet name. ROU Frank Exchange Frank Exchange of Views. The E&M Banks. Wordsmith, Uske Bach 67, Sweevy, Zone Enders, IRL Fine, John 1, and Muna Person. All thanks to Americat.
And Red Shoes Jeff has cheered with 100 bits, saying, "Have a sandwich." Thank you for those extra Subway bits.
Pantstravaganza for 14 months. It's a long Pantstravaganza.
And the Meerkat has cheered with 100 bits, saying, "You made it to the end. Congratulations."
And Zethros with the 63 months. Thank you very much. Thank you, all you awesome people.
63. It's the new 69.
Is it?
No.
Well, I fell for that one, I guess. Your clever ruse.
Of lying? Yeah.
Yes, of flagrantly lying.
Can't help it.
All right, we're going to go away, and then LRMTG is going to be back. It may be not immediately back, because there's some very busy stuff going on in the old moon base here with all the prep for the PBR. But hopefully, someone will be back.
It's probably going to be James, and then maybe other people will be there.
Yeah. So somebody will be back at some point, probably in the near future, for some LRMTG. And then tonight, it's going to be Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, where Ian is going to be working on his Apollo guidance system some more.
Good.
Yeah. So hopefully, he'll be getting into space pretty soon. Or at least when he gets into space, he'll be able to guide himself. I feel like
he's going on his own.
Yeah, the guiding part he's going to have figured out. The getting into space part might be a little bit more difficult. I don't know. He's got that like air cannon. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah. Then there's this big event tomorrow.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, starting at 11 o'clock, is going to be the PPR for Eldraine, the Throne of Eldraine, which is so cool looking.
Quick reminder, if you're looking for our Magic content on YouTube, whether you're watching this on Twitch or on YouTube later, the all of our Magic stuff is now on youtube.com/LRRMTG. So you will find the stream VODs there, the Tap Concedes, and the PPR videos themselves will actually also be going up over there.
Yeah. And then of course on Saturday, Adam's going to be playing the Persona 5, and on Sunday, Heather and Ian are going to be continuing on with the Songbird Symphony.
Yes. Hopefully we'll finish it that day. And if everything goes according to plan, Saturday night we're actually going to start Play It Forward.
Ooh. Alrighty. Well, we will see all y'all later. Bye.
Where'd the mouse go?